Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our channel, where today we delve into a topic close to many hearts: healing. Healing is a journey we all embark upon, though each path is unique. Why does life seem to test us with heartache before we grasp its deeper truths? In our journey through existence, we encounter moments of intense emotion that shake us to our core. Our resistance to pain often stems from our ego's desire to avoid discomfort and maintain a false sense of security. The pain you're experiencing right now is not just a detour in your journey. It begins when you stop pretending to be okay and start accepting your own reality, not with judgment, but with compassion. The heart doesn't follow a calendar. You can't schedule relief or demand peace overnight. Healing unfolds with every small act of bravery. When you open up instead of shutting down, when you choose to rest instead of pushing beyond your limits, when you say no to toxic cycles, even when they feel familiar, that's healing. Caterpillars don't look like butterflies, but that doesn't mean the change isn't happening. It's the most courageous act you will ever commit to. It is a redirection towards authenticity, towards resilience, towards a deeper understanding of who you are and what you stand for. It's a testament to our resilience, a catalyst for growth, and a reminder of our capacity for profound strength and compassion. As you navigate your healing journey, know that you are not merely enduring, you are evolving. You are transforming pain into power, fear into wisdom, and despair into hope. Your healing is a beacon, a light that not only illuminates your path, but also paves the way for others who are walking in darkness. So go forth, brave seeker, knowing that your healing is a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for the world. Embrace the discomfort, for it is in the struggle that you will discover your true strength. Your engagement helps amplify our message and touch more lives. Also, if you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. It's a simple step that ensures you don't miss any of our future uploads. Thank you for joining us on this journey of healing, growth, and enlightenment. Do not fear the pain, for it is carrying you to a place of wisdom and power. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Reach out, connect, and allow the warmth of human touch to comfort and guide you. Lean on your loved ones. Seek professional help. Be vulnerable and let the world catch you. In your vulnerability, you will find the raw material of your healing, the strength to forge ahead. You must fight for your peace, day by day. You must choose to unlearn the voices that told you you're not enough. You must replace lies with truth. You must challenge the false narratives you've absorbed from your wounds. Healing means standing in the mirror, looking into your own eyes, and declaring, I deserve more. I am not my pain. I am becoming. The next stage of healing is acceptance, not resignation, not giving up, but embracing your story, your scars, your whole self. Acceptance is when you no longer need the story to change in order to feel whole. You no longer ask, why did this happen to me? But instead say, what can I create from it? That shift in perspective is powerful. It opens the door to purpose, because your pain, once healed, becomes your power. It becomes the medicine that you can offer to others. And maybe, just maybe, your healing isn't just for you. Maybe someone else's freedom depends on your courage to overcome. Inside you, strength is building, clarity is forming, and light is quietly returning. And when you finally emerge, it will not be as the person who was broken, but as someone who has been beautifully If the world around you feels indifferent, be your own safe space. Listen to what your heart needs and protect it fiercely. Stop running from the pain. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it teach you where you bleed and why. Let it guide you to the root of what hurt you, not to punish yourself, but to understand, forgive, and finally release it. That release is the breaking of chains. The moment you exhale centuries of silence and start breathing as a whole person again. It's slow, subtle, and sometimes feels like nothing at all. But one day you'll wake up and realize the weight is lighter, the memories softer, and your own voice stronger. You do not have to carry your wounds as a badge of shame. But true healing begins when we drop the mask, when we tell ourselves the truth, no matter how painful it may be. It begins with permission to feel, to cry, to scream, to fall apart and rebuild without shame. You don't owe perfection to anyone. You only owe yourself authenticity. And in your most authentic moments, you will find your deepest healing. There are people who will never understand your process, and that's okay. Healing is not a performance. It doesn't need applause or approval. It is sacred, personal, and raw. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the time it takes you to recover. Every soul heals at its own pace, and your pace is perfect for you. Trust it. Your past does not disqualify you from joy, love, or fulfillment. If anything, it becomes the soil from which your greatest growth will bloom. Many people believe healing means forgetting, but that is not true. Healing means remembering without letting the memory define your present or destroy your future. It is the ability to revisit pain without drowning in it, to look your story in the eye and say, yes, this happened, and yet I am still rising. It's a stepping stone to a greater understanding of yourself and the world around you. It's like a crucible where your faith is tested, your resilience is strengthened, and your spirit is tempered. The healing process is one of the most profound journeys a human being can ever walk. It's not just about recovering from penance, about reclaiming your strength, reawakening your spirit, and reintroducing yourself to the world with deeper wisdom and sharper clarity. It begins in silence, in the quiet cracks of your heart, where no one sees your battles, and yet you choose to keep going. However, it is in surrendering to the inevitability of pain and embracing it as a teacher that we discover life's most profound insights. By confronting our pain, we open ourselves to the transformative power of resilience, empathy, and growth. We learn to navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom and maturity, and it is in this journey of confronting and conquering our pain that we discover our true strength and potential. Emotional pain has the power to break down old patterns of behavior and thought, paving the way for healing and self. It compels you to seek deeper connections, to establish healthier boundaries, and to develop a more profound sense of empathy and understanding for yourself and others. These experiences, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, leave indelible marks on our souls. They carve pathways in our hearts and etch themselves onto our minds. But why must these instances of pain be so deeply ingrained in our psyche? What hidden purpose do they serve? And why does life seem to hide its valuable lessons behind a veil of suffering? Pain, with its myriad forms and intensities, has a profound impact on the human experience. It's the unwelcome guest that crashes into our lives, disrupting the tranquility of our existence. Yet this disruption, though often agonizing, serves a higher purpose. Pain acts as a catalyst for awakening, propelling us toward profound realizations that would otherwise remain elusive. Your support helps us continue to spread our message of inspiration and personal development. Let's begin. Have you ever pondered why we must experience pain before we learn its lessons? It is a stark reminder that life is not a bed of roses, and that within the thorns lie the seeds of our transformation. Think about times when a physical injury has forced you to slow down, to rest, and to reevaluate your lifestyle choices. It's in those moments of stillness, when the body demands attention and care, that you are reminded of your mortality. You are confronted with the fragility of your physical form, prompting you to appreciate its preciousness and the need to treat it with reverence. This realization often leads to positive changes. You become more conscious of the food you consume, the activities you pursue, and the overall balance between work and well-being. You begin to understand that true strength lies not just in pushing through pain, but in listening to your body's needs and honoring them. Similarly, emotional pain, whether it stems from heartbreak, loss, or disappointment, can be a catalyst for significant personal growth. In essence, life seems to hide its most valuable lessons behind the veil of pain, because it recognizes that we are most receptive to learning when we are touched by adversity. But what if I told you that the pain you feel right now is not the end of your story, but the fire forging the strongest version of you? Healing is an invisible battle, one that cannot be measured by scars or smiles. The first truth you must accept is that healing cannot be rushed. We are often taught to wear masks, to present strength even when we're breaking. When the nights feel endless and the days feel heavy, remind yourself that you are not weak, you are in transformation. Healing is not passive. Your pain is not a dead end. In the tapestry of life, where every thread of experience contributes to the richness of our being, remember that pain too is a vital thread. If you found solace or insight in this message, we encourage you to hit the like button and share it with those who might benefit from these words. There's an old saying, healing takes time, and it's a mantra I repeat to myself almost daily. But what does it really mean? Healing isn't just a bandage on a wound or a plaster cast on a broken bone. And I realize that healing isn't linear. There are stages, different phases, and understanding these stages can be a source of comfort. This could be the death of a loved one, a sudden change of circumstances, a traumatic event, or the slow burn of chronic stress. This first layer is the shock, the initial numbness that allows us to function despite the earthquake within. We come out of the tunnel not unscathed, but stronger, more resilient. Your experiences and insights might resonate with others who are on a similar path. Remember, you are not alone. We are all navigating the complexities of life and healing together. The air is thin and cold at first, but gradually the sun begins to warm our skin and we can see the landscape of our new reality. We have survived the storm, but we carry the scars of the wind and rain as reminders of our We are not the same people who entered the storm. Our vision is clearer, our perspective altered, our strength tested and proven. We have danced with pain and emerged, blinking in the sunlight, into the next phase of our journey. We are wiser now, humbler, more compassionate, more forgiving, not only of others, but most importantly, of ourselves. We understand that healing is not a destination, but a continuous process, a return to the rhythm of life with a deeper understanding of its cycles. We've learned that growth and sorrow often intertwine, that pain is a teacher, and that resilience is the cornerstone of our strength. We carry our scars with pride, knowing that they are the topography of our souls, the map of our healing journey. They tell the story of our struggles and our triumphs, reminding us that we are not just survivors. We have found the strength within ourselves that we never knew existed. We've learned to lean into the discomfort, to sit with the uncertainty, and to trust in the process, not just with others, but with ourselves. We are more patient now. We understand that healing takes time and that setbacks are not failures, savoring the small moments of joy, but from embracing it. We do so with gratitude, grateful for the pain that made us stronger, for the scars that tell our story, and for the resilience that guides our steps. From using it as fuel to propel us forward on our path, appreciating the beauty in the everyday and cherishing the connections that sustain us, we are more present too. We've learned that true strength comes not from avoiding pain, of moving forward, even when our hearts have been torn into 1,000 pieces. This stage is about enduring, but the loss of dreams, the betrayal of trust, the collapse of expectations, keeping afloat in a sea of overwhelming emotions. And as we move forward, we might not feel the full force of our emotions. We might just exist to get through each day, but the winds of change have shaped us into beings of light, a moment of quiet before the storm. Our souls are gathering themselves, relationships or distractions, to avoid confronting the depths of our sorrow, preparing for the deluge of emotions that will follow, tempered in the fires of adversity, ready to face whatever comes next with grace and grit, whether consciously or unconsciously. It's just a chapter, not the whole story. We are not the same people who entered the storm. It's the instinctual response of survival. In essence, we might not process what has happened. This phase is a necessary pause, and in the stillness of that quiet, it's a reminder that whatever phase you're in, and this is the stage we often resist, we might throw ourselves into work. Grief is not just the loss of people and the destruction of plans we built with so much hope. Grief is the silent scream for everything that could have been but never was. Healing demands that we stop running from this grief and instead walk straight into its fire. Because on the other side of grief lies clarity. Clarity about what we valued, what we feared, and what we must let go to breathe freely again. To truly grieve, we must first let go of comparison. Your pain is not invalid because someone else has suffered more. Your heartbreak is not insignificant because others have different struggles. You do not need to minimize your sadness or dilute your tears. What hurts you, and that is enough. You do not need permission to cry. You do not need a jury to validate your suffering. Grief doesn't seek logic, it seeks honesty. So speak honestly to yourself about what you've lost. Even if the world moves on and forgets, you may find yourself questioning everything. That's not destruction, that's reconstruction, because it is in honoring your truth that your soul begins to mend. Grieving also requires space, emotional, physical, and spiritual space. Grief softens you. It cracks the hard shell around your soul. You must protect that space from people who rush you or invalidate you. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your process. Some will tell you to get over it, but they have no idea what it took for you to survive in the first place. You are not weak because you're still hurting. You are not broken because the pain still lingers. You are simply human, tender, layered, and complex. Give yourself permission to be unfinished for a while. The heart does not heal on command. It heals when it feels safe, seen, and soothed. When grief arrives, it changes your entire relationship with time. You begin to measure life in before and after. You begin to move differently, think differently, feel everything with more depth, and that can be terrifying, but it is also sacred, because you are no longer living in denial. You are alive in the most raw and beautiful sense, and that aliveness is not a curse, it is your resurrection. Now that the dam is broken, we are flooded with a torrent of emotions. It is the moment your spirit begins to breathe again after being suffocated by numb. Many try to bypass grief by staying busy, jumping into distractions, chasing noise, drowning in responsibilities, but grief waits. It waits quietly in the corners of your life, in your silence, in your sleep, in the songs you avoid. And if you don't face it, it hardens. It becomes bitterness, or anger, or numbness. But if you allow it to flow, to rise like a tide and crash through you, it will carry you to the shore of understanding. It will show you what mattered and what didn't. It will bring you back to yourself. Grieving doesn't mean you live in sorrow forever. It means you make space for what you lost, so that you can make room for what is still coming. It means you begin to live with both hands open, one holding memory, the other reaching toward possibility. It means learning to carry joy and sorrow in the same heart, letting neither consume the other. That is the true strength of healing, not in choosing one emotion over another, but in embracing the full spectrum of your humanity. In grief, you may feel isolated. You may believe no one understands, but know this: grief is one of the most unifying human experiences. Everyone walks through it in some form, and if you allow your pain to be witnessed, whether in a journal, in a prayer, in a trusted friend's embrace, you begin to create connection, and connection is where the true repair begins. You will not be the same after grief. You are not meant to be. Some parts of you will fall away, and that's okay. Some beliefs, relationships, or identities may dissolve. The pain clears space for what is true, what is real, what is meant for the next chapter. And yes, it hurts, but in that pain, you are shedding what no longer serves you. It reminds you of what is sacred. It humbles your heart and deepens your capacity for empathy. You become slower to judge, quicker to listen. You begin to understand that everyone you meet carries invisible battles, and that changes the way you move through the world. You become a safe space for others because you've learned how to hold space for yourself. You may not see it yet, but your grief is a bridge. It leads from where you were to where you are going. And though it may feel endless, you are walking across it. Every breath you take, every time you allow yourself to feel, every tear you release is a step forward. Do not stop walking. The pain will not last forever. The sorrow will not define you. One day, you will look back and realize that your grief was not your undoing. It was the sacred echo of love. And in learning to live with it, you've become whole in a way you never imagined. Healing is a journey, a labyrinth with twists and turns, peaks and valleys, moments of euphoria and days of despair. Recently, I sat down to jot down my thoughts on the different layers of healing, drawing from my personal experiences and those I've encountered during my work. The first layer of healing begins when something shatters our peace. The second layer of the healing process begins when we allow ourselves to grieve. The third layer of healing begins when we reach the other side of the grief. If you resonated with this, please share your thoughts in the comments below. It's more like a spiral staircase. Each turn brings you closer to wholeness, but you don't stay on the same step. And reconstructing them in a way that serves the new you, the one who's emerged from the crucible of pain. It requires that you confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding and bring them into the light of your awareness. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to create content that matters. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And remember, you are not alone. We're all in this together. Until next time, let the healing begin and continue. It means letting go of what no longer serves you and committing to what does. It means setting boundaries, speaking your truth, honoring your needs. And if you're not careful, it can lead to burnout. That's why I want you to hear this. You don't have to do this alone. Seek support. Lean on your loved ones. Reach out to your community. Rebuilding is a team effort, and when you have the right people by your side, it becomes not just possible, but probable. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If you find yourself in the recon zone, know that you're not stuck. You're transitioning. Know that what you're feeling is normal. You're not broken. Know that what lies ahead is not a dead end. It's a new beginning. Embrace the recon zone. Honor it. Nurture it. Let it be the fertile ground from which your true healing and wholeness grow. It's about putting your life back together, but not in the same way it was before. No, this time, you get to decide what stays and what goes. You get to choose what you want your life to look like. Now, that's a daunting task. It means facing your pain, your trauma, your grief head-on, and deciding how to move forward with it, around it, through it. It means confronting the parts of you that got lost in the process of trying to survive and bringing them back, piece by piece. But here's why it's so worth it. When you rebuild in this way, you're not just patching things up. You're creating something stronger, something more resilient, something more beautiful than before. You're transforming pain into power, trauma into triumph. And that's a kind of magic. You move, you grow, you learn. And this phase, this recon zone, is one of those steps. Here's the thing. The recon zone is not a bad place to be. In fact, it's a testament to your strength. It means you've made it past the initial shock. You've started to process, to digest, to absorb the weight of what you've been through. And while it might not feel like it, that's a huge deal. You're not running on automatic pilot anymore. You're engaging your mind, your heart, your soul in the process of getting better. But here's where things get tricky. The recon zone can feel like a holding pattern, a sort of limbo where you're not hurting as much, but you're not fully healed either. And that can be confusing. You might start to question whether you're actually healing, or if this is as good as it gets, or worse. You might think something is wrong with you because you're not feeling the intense pain or the overwhelming grief anymore. But that's where I come in to tell you that you're on the right track. You've entered the recon zone, which means you're ready to rebuild. Have you ever felt that the initial shock of pain or grief began to fade, but you were still stuck in a kind of limbo? The rawness is gone, but you're not quite whole. You're in that weird in-between space, not quite healed, not quite the same. You might be wondering, is this it? Is this what healing looks like? Does it get better than this? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that what you're feeling is normal. You're not broken. You're not stuck. You're in what I call the recon zone. It's the zone where the immediate wounds are dressed, but the real work begins. It's the space where you go from feeling raw to feeling resolute, from being overwhelmed by grief to figuring out who you are in the presence of that grief. It's not an easy journey, but it's one that leads to the most profound transformations. Think of it like this. Healing is not a straight line. The recon zone is all about reconstruction. It's about taking the pieces of your life that are still salvageable. Here's the truth. Rebuilding isn't easy. It takes time, energy, focus. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What has your experience been like in the recon zone? What challenges have you faced? What insights have you gained?